Hi there, welcome to today's vlog. One of the things I quite enjoy doing is watching auctions. What I like programs such as Flog It. Well, unfortunately, the BBC have stopped making Flog It, but it was when somebody would bring along an item, an antique or a collectible item, and the expert would give the valuation, and sometimes the person who owned the object would then put it into auction. Sometimes the object would reach the valuation or the estimate given by the expert. Sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes it would reach a figure in excess of what the valuer, the expert, thought it was. I was watching an auction online, and there was one particular lot that I was interested in. It was a collection of about 30 odd Edwardian sporting postcards. I thought that would be quite interesting. Sometimes postcards can be quite collectible. The estimate given by the auctioneers was I think about £40 to £50, which for 30 odd postcards is not exorbitant. So I was watching that, waiting for it to come up. In the event, clearly other people were very interested, and the price, the bidding value kept going up and up and up until it eventually reached £800. So somebody has valued that lot, the 34 postcards, at £800, plus they would have had to pay a commission of about 20 odd percent, I think. So that's getting on towards £1,000 just for those 34 postcards. That was worth it because somebody is prepared to pay the price. So what is a human life worth? One of the issues that our society faces is the number of people who have come to the conclusion, for whatever reason, that their life is pretty worthless. In fact, the number of people taking their own life is horrendous. And for some of those people, I guess the reason they've taken their own life is that they've come to the conclusion that life isn't worth anything, that nobody's missed them. And that's really sad. And there are other examples where the way that we treat one another is almost as if we're saying to a person, you're not worth anything. And that's why I can treat you this way. One of the issues in the news at the moment is the whole issue of racism, sadly, in Yorkshire County Cricket Club, where people have said things to others of a different race, and that's part of a put down that you're not worth very much, you're not worth as much as I am. So how much is a human life worth? Well, of course, what is somebody prepared to pay for it? The wonderful, amazing gospel message is that God so loved the world that he gave his only son. Jesus came into our world and he offered his life on a cross. He suffered that indignity, that pain, that torture of the cross, the criminal's death, even though he was a man without sin. Why? Because through that he paid the price for our sin, our wrongdoings. Let me remind you of some words from that famous hymn, There is a Green Hill Far Away. He died, that's Jesus, that we might be forgiven, that we might go at last to heaven. And also we may not know, we cannot tell what pains he had to bear, but we believe it was for us. He hung and suffered there. Jesus paid the greatest price because in God's eyes we are precious. I spoke recently about a service at the church I grew up in, a closing service that was, although sad, very positive, because many people gave testimony, shared a story of how that their lives had been impacted through that church, that village church. One of those who gave testimony was my brother-in-law, Jeff, and he told about how as a teenager, he was at a Good Friday service back in, I think, 1960. And the preacher was talking about what Christ has done for us, how Jesus laid down his life for us, freely offered his life. And then the preacher issued a challenge to the congregation. What have you done in response? And Jeff's comment was that I thought to myself, well, I haven't done anything. I haven't responded to what Jesus has done for me. And in that moment, he made that decision to give his life to Jesus Christ. So there's the question for us all. What have we done in response to God's gift of life, God's offer of life eternal through Jesus? He loved us so much. We are precious in his sight that he paid the price. How do we respond to what Jesus has done for us? God bless you. Thank you so much for listening today.